Hello today. In this video, I would like to talk about parenting. And I'd like to talk about parenting because seriously, people just aren't talking enough about parenting. Um, I think in earlier generations, the popular demand was for older people to put fear into younger people and say, these are children raising children. Honestly, the older people did not take in consideration the generations prior to them, in particular during slavery times, when younger people had children and they weren't deemed insignificant enough to have what they need to raise a child. So we'd have to assume that instinctually the maturity and the nurturing and the maturity isn't there. I think it's very, very difficult job parenting is. A lot of parents don't want to admit that it's difficult, and for some reason they seem to think that if they admit parenting is difficult, they have somehow admitted failure, or they believe and or understand that they are keeping face for their children so that they don't hurt their children's feelings to say that parenting is a difficult job. Many times today, rather couples stay together or they separate, they really are not communicating in open, honest manners. So they're portraying themselves as a system, as it takes two people to conceive a child. They are portraying themselves as a working unit, and in actuality, they're working as separates. Excuse me, a lot of people don't discuss family planning. And a lot of times family planning isn't discussed with certain people because those people are lambs, silenced intellectually, spiritually, and emotionally to stand as a reminder of what spirituality is and is not. So in terms of planning a family, spiritually, it said that spiritually, sexuality is only acceptable in accordance to creating life. So in those terms, if a couple knew that, this is what they wanted for themselves, they wanted each other, and they wanted each other on a long-term scenario, then they'd understand to discuss how many children they thought that they could handle, when they thought they were financially ready to take care of children, including, money and savings, a job that's gainful enough to cover the expenses they have now. A couple who felt that they were mature enough and they had enough trust and honesty and respect within their relationship that they didn't mind, creating life together. A couple who felt, they would marry and make their union responsible in the eyes of spirituality, in the eyes of their families, and in the eyes of themselves. So not just saying that this is the person that I'm spending time with right now, saying that this is the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with. And no, not because I have to get forced to spend the rest of my life with this person. This is really who I would love to spend the rest of my life with. So, in terms of parenting, parents really don't talk about the expenses that they have as parents, financially, spiritually, the taxing on their energy, and their wisdom. There's never enough time in one 24-hour period. So, whereas some parents itemize every expense and every discomfort they have, prior to having children, during pregnancy, they fully intend to keep reminding their partner how difficult conceiving and have and pregnancy and then parenting really is for them. So, they don't mind waking their partner up 2-3 o'clock in the morning, requesting cravings, and I want you to speak to my stomach, and I want you to visit the doctor's office with me every time, not just sometimes. When the child wakes up in the middle of the night, I want you to wake up in the middle of the night as well. I want you to learn how to change diapers and make formula. Other parents are hands-on. So, whereas they're not adding up how many diapers they use in a day, how much those diapers cost them. They aren't adding up, the sleep lost and, the lack of appreciation for the little jobs that they do for their children. Because to some parents, this is what is required of a parent. It's as if no one should have to ask a parent to provide for their child protection, finances, food, education, discipline. So, I think the greater amount of conversations a parent has with the child allows the child to understand what decisions they may make when they're older. And, to say something to the child, I'm not saying that you're a liability to me. And certainly you didn't ask to get delivered into this world. That was upon my action and your father's action. Parents must also stay aware of the influences that are happening towards their parenting. One of the influences that happens towards parents, in particularly parents who are younger parents, are grandparents and aunts and uncles, and that influence the young parent's life. So in some family systems, there are patterns and repeat patterns that continue to keep happening, and some people call those genocidal debt or generational curses, which are delegated from older people in your family. If that's your family system, it's safe to say you would probably want to understand who's delegating certain patterns into your life, why they choose you to delegate these certain patterns in your life. And hopefully they chose you with your consent to delegate certain patterns into your life. And let's say you understand within your family system that you were not conceived through parents who were married at the time. Yet for your children, you had married prior to having your children, to give your children a stronger foundation. So would you expect for your children then